that this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
So I don't give them no energy. I give haters no energy. Steve ain't this. He think he this. You don't even know me.
Everyone is talking about it right now. The shocking arrest of Shaw Diddy Combs and the unbelievable fallout that's dragging some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry along with him. But there's one name in particular that's left everyone in disbelief: Steve Harvey. Yes, the same Steve Harvey that we all know from family-friendly TV shows like Family Feud and his long-standing career as a comedian and talk show host. The same Steve who has built an image as a clean, respectable, almost fatherly figure in the entertainment world. But behind that polished persona, it seems there may be a much darker side.
Clearly, there is a criminal investigation underway, and that they believe that there would be evidence of crimes in one or both of these homes.
The bombshell. News dropped like a ton of bricks when Diddy was arrested in Manhattan Federal. Agents took him in on charges that sound like they're straight out of a crime: thriller, racketeering, conspiracy, exploitation, and more.
Stacey Schneider. And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
This was huge. Diddy's business empire has spanned music, fashion, television, and nightlife for decades. But the arrest has blown a hole in the image of the music mogul. Everyone thought they knew. As more detail surfaced, whispers started to swirl. A lot of people began to wonder how many others could be involved in this mess. And then boom, the rumor hit the internet like wildfire. Steve Harvey, the beloved host and comedian, had fled the country the exact same day Diddy was taken into custody. Coincidence? Not likely.
I've had clients describe NBC as hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
Let's rewind a bit and talk about these legendary parties Diddy used to throw to the outside world. They seemed like the place to be celebrities for music, movies, sports, and politics, rubbing shoulders, all while Diddy cemented his reputation as the ultimate host. But as time went on, more and more rumors surfaced about what really went down at those parties, rumors that hinted at some very questionable activities. The recent allegations and arrests suggest that these weren't just harmless social gatherings. If you listen to the people now coming forward, Diddy's parties were much more than that. They were allegedly a breeding ground for all sorts of illegal activities. And it's not just Diddy who's under the microscope. Every high-profile guest who attended, including Steve Harvey, is now being looked at with suspicion.
The housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown unit, which means that any movement within that unit is controlled and coordinated, and no inmate moves outside of his cell without being in full restraints, to include leg irons, handcuffs, a belly chain, and at least 2, if not 3 staff members escorting them.
It's been said that Steve wasn't just a casual guest at these parties either. Rumor has it that he was a regular fixture at some of the wildest nights in Diddy and Circle. This is where things get really interesting. Sources close to the investigation are hinting that the FBI has witnesses who claim to have seen Steve taking part in some pretty unsavory stuff. These aren't just people throwing out baseless accusations. These are individuals who allegedly attended the same parties and witnessed Steve getting involved in things that are not just embarrassing, but potentially illegal.
Replete with very, very serious and salacious allegations, including allegations that Combs had cameras throughout his home.
Now this is where the story really starts to peel back the layers of Steve's public image. For years, he's presented himself as the ultimate family man, a devoted husband and father, someone who could give advice to millions on how to live a respectable life. His best-selling book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, cemented his place as a voice of reason in the often chaotic world of relationships. But what if it was all a front? What if it was all a front? What if behind the scenes, Steve Harvey was living a double life, frequenting events that were anything but wholesome? All right, I got to take some time to address this here. Of course, Steve has built an empire on his charm, wit, and larger-than-life personality. He's been the face of countless TV shows, from talk shows to game shows, and he's universally adored for his no-nonsense approach to life. But this new information could change everything. The idea that Steve could have been involved in, or at least witnessed the deeply troubling activities allegedly happening at Diddy's parties, is almost too much for people to wrap their heads around. Could the man who's been doing out life advice for decades be hiding something? This dark alleged evidence that's been gathered in this case was from those 2 raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles, and the indictment names that the thing seized that he allegedly made videos of these performances as that have been named freak-offs. The fact that Steve left the country just as Diddy was being arrested has people buzzing. Why would he flee if he had nothing to hide? It's one thing to go on a spontaneous vacation, but to leave the US the moment a close associate is taken down in a massive scandal, that's not something most people would do unless they had a very good reason to. And for Steve, that reason might be fear. That reason might be fear that the authorities are closing in on him next now. So what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, get moved earlier than that? As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released. What's even more chilling is that it's not just Steve's attendance at these parties that's under scrutiny. There are whispers, allegedly from credible sources close to the investigation, that Steve wasn't just a passive bystander. According to these sources, the FBI has been gathering evidence for years, and they've interviewed multiple witnesses who claim Steve actively participated in some of the most shocking and illegal activities that went down at these events. We're talking about things that, if proven, could completely ruin his career and lead to serious legal consequences.
So what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, get moved earlier than that?
As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released.
For now, Steve has remained tight-lipped about all of this. He's not issued any public statement, and his representative have been suspiciously quiet. But behind the scenes, you can bet his legal team is working overtime to figure out how to navigate the storm. The fact that Steve fled the country suggests he knows there's a real possibility that he could be implicated in this scandal after all. If he truly had nothing to worry about, why wouldn't he just stay put and defend himself? We all saw it posted yesterday all over all social media pages. Cassie fought a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy. She's claiming she was stuck in a decade-long cycle of abuse. What makes this even more shocking is the sheer contrast between Steve's squeaky clean public image and the allegations now swirling around him. This is a man who has built his brand on being relatable, trustworthy, and full of down-to-earth wisdom. He's the last person anyone would expect to be caught up in something like this. But the more we learn about what allegedly went on at these parties, the more it seems like anyone who was regularly in attendance could be involved, that he controlled every aspect of her life. He is accused of frequently beating her and would hide her in hotel rooms for days until the bruising signs of abuse were gone. And let's not forget Steve's close relationship with Diddy only adds fuel to the fire over the years. The two have been seen together at numerous events, and there's been no shortage of public admiration between them. Steve has even praised Diddy's entrepreneurial spirit and credited him as an inspiration. But now, with D behind bars and facing serious charges, that relationship is suddenly looking a lot more suspicious. And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap. The real question on everyone's mind is this: what does Steve have to hide? Is it possible that he was merely a guest at these parties, had no idea what was really going on? Or, as the rumors suggest, was he a willing participant in the activities that have now led to Diddy's downfall? The truth is still up in the air. But as more details emerge, it's becoming harder and harder to give Steve the benefit of the doubt. The fact that the FBI has reportedly been investigating Diddy's network for years means that they're not just looking at him. They're looking at everyone who's ever been closely associated with him,